What is a contract? A contract is an agreement between two or more parties that sets out what each party must do. It is important to understand the agreement's details and ensure everyone is doing what they said they would do. Are you aware of the importance of having a clear and concise contract? Knowing the different types of contracts and their variations is essential for creating a legally binding agreement. But how do you make sure that everyone involved understands the contract? Let me tell you what steps to take. Welcome to this video designed to help you understand the obligations, rights, and consequences that each party in a contract must adhere to. Contracts are an essential part of any business, legal, or real estate transaction, and it's important to make sure all parties involved understand their rights and obligations. In this video, we'll discuss the importance of having a clear and concise contract that's easy to understand. We'll also look at the different types of contracts and their variations. So, let's get started. Today, a contract is more than just a piece of paper. It's a legally binding agreement between two or more parties that outlines their obligations, rights, and consequences for any breach. Contracts can be written or verbal, and must meet certain criteria to be valid. It's important to create a contract that is clear and concise, covering all aspects of the agreement between the parties. This includes payment terms, delivery dates, the right to enforce the contract, and any penalties for any breach of the contract. Knowing the purpose of the contract and the nature of the relationship between the parties is essential to ensure that any misunderstandings or disputes are avoided. Contracts are an essential part of many business, real estate, and other legal transactions. It's important for all parties involved to be aware of their rights and obligations, and that the terms and conditions are clearly laid out. To ensure everyone involved is held accountable, a clause for dispute resolution should be included in the contract in the event of disagreements. When it comes to contracts, the details can vary greatly depending on the type of agreement. For instance, a sales contract typically involves the price of a product, delivery date, payment terms, and warranty information, while an employment contract may involve job title, salary, benefits, and termination provisions. The most common types of contracts are sales, employment, rental, and loan agreements, all of which have their own unique set of details. It's essential to consider who is responsible for any potential damages or losses that may arise. To make sure both parties understand the terms, it's important to review the purpose of the agreement and the obligations and rights of each party, and to ensure the agreement is clear and unambiguous. A qualified lawyer can help ensure the contract is legally binding. Knowing the details of contracts and the variations involved is key for any business or legal agreement. Creating legally binding contracts doesn't have to be a daunting task. By using clear and concise language, you can ensure that everyone involved in the contract fully understands the terms and conditions. Avoid complex legal terms and explain them in plain language. Keep the contract simple and straightforward to make sure all parties understand it. With a clear and concise contract, you can ensure that everyone involved is on the same page. If you're entering into a legally binding agreement, it's essential to make sure you clearly understand the contract. A contract should clearly outline the rights, obligations, and consequences for any breach of the agreement. Consider the purpose of the agreement, who is responsible for any losses or damages, and ensure all parties involved understand the terms and conditions. With a clear and concise contract, you can avoid potential confusion and misunderstandings.